Hello fellow citizens and welcome to another tutorial. Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to discuss Git and GitHub and we're gonna do some examples. GitHub is a cloud for us storing our code, okay? So we have our projects and we push them into the cloud here and then we can access them from anywhere. Let's sign in here. I'm gonna sign in with my account. You can create your own account if you don't have one. And then we can see here on the left we have the repositories. Now, each repository is an actual project. So for example, this is Google Charts, Bootstrap. These are tutorials I've made before and then I pushed the code in each repository and then I provided you the link in the description and then you can download the code. So this is accessible to everyone. They're public. We have public and we have private repositories. Let's create one. New repository, and we're gonna call this GitHub tutorial. Alright, it's available. Description, this is a tutorial for GitHub and Git. And then we want to have a public. As said before, we have public and private. Private are only visible to you or people you invite in, to see the code and download it. Public is for everyone. So everyone can download the things or files, content you have inside your repository. We don't need any README file here. We don't have a big project right now. So I'm just gonna create a repository. Now, repository is like a folder that will contain our project. Okay, so there it's done here. Now it's telling me how to do it. Here, create a repository on the command line, which means that we can also use the terminal. So, for example, if I go to CD desktop, open your terminal and go to I will go to desktop. You can create your own folder wherever you want, and then I will say dir, so it means create a folder, GitHub tutorial. I will go change directory to GitHub so I can enter this folder, and then I will actually do what it says here. But now I have already created the repository, and we can see this here. If I go on Mike Dragon, I can see this GitHub tutorial. These are my repositories. So instead of doing the git init, git add readme and all this stuff here, I will just do this git remote add origin. Push an existing repository from the command line. Alright, so I'm actually going to do this so I don't confuse you. Maybe it's better to do everything so you get it from the beginning. Alright, so I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go git init. Okay, let's see now. Dir. It's empty. Dir. Give me a second. I don't remember. I use Linux usually. Dir all files. In Linux it's ls/la, for example. List all. Dir s. Alright, dir s. Dir, no. Alright, so we have 0 files, 2 dirs, which is a bit weird. It shouldn't be any dirs inside. Why it says 2 dirs? Windows terminal is not so user friendly, but anyway, maybe it's me. It's weird. Okay, displays all files. So let's go dir s b OGN. So we have no files basically. Yes, so this command displays all files and folders and subfolders. Yeah, and it sorts also. They always for sort. Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to go into that now. I don't wanna go into the Windows terminal because it's something I don't really use. It's just for this tutorial. So we have no folders inside this GitHub tutorial map folder. So we're gonna do git init. And now we see initialized empty git repository in, this is the path. And you see this .git is the actual folder. So if I do dir, I don't see anything. Let me see. Dir show hidden files. So I'm gonna do dir a so, and now I see this .git folder is there. Now what we're gonna do actually is we're gonna browse this from the real file browser and see the file. So I'm gonna go to desktop. Just give me a second. I'm gonna find it here. GitHub tutorial. I'm gonna bring it here, and there we have our folder GitHub tutorial. So if I open it, I can see this .git. So basically we accessed this folder in the desktop, which is under the desktop, and then we initialized Git. So we did Git init, and this file map was created, okay, folder. So if I click here, I see hooks, info, objects, blah blah blah. Now this means that I have Git installed here on my project. Now I don't have any project yet because I haven't any folders. So I'm gonna actually create a file. I'm gonna call it index HTML, not HTML. And do rename, and let's do this new version of Windows, man, it's something else. Right click, there's no rename. Okay, rename here. Index HTML. We are learning Windows also at the same time, yeah. Alright, so I have my index HTML, and now I'm going to open it with let's say Sublime. I'm gonna write HTML, just create an HTML file, this is just to add the project inside, yeah. So my project, so this could be, for example, the project you're working on. You're coding something and you have it in a folder, and then you wanna use Git. I'm gonna show you what Git does. Git is actually the tool to use to push our code to the GitHub or to another cloud service for code, like Bitbucket, GitHub. They're the most used ones. So in order to send our code, our local code here, for example, this file, this index.html, we want to add it to the cloud somewhere, we use Git. So what this is doing here, it's gonna track all our changes, and we can actually push this code to our repository, which we have created in GitHub in this scenario. So I'm gonna show you what that means. Now, we did Git init to initialize Git. So Git init is nothing, like it's just installing Git, okay, nothing else on this particular path or this folder. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna say git status to see what's going on. Git status shows that untracked files. Use git add to include it in what will be committed. Now, what we do is we add our files here, we make our changes, and then we're gonna push them to GitHub. So Git needs to actually all the time look what changed, what's new, what's removed, So that's why we use git status. And then we're gonna see all the files that are changed or not tracked to are gonna appear here. So now if I do git diff, it's not gonna work, and the reason is maybe it's because there are no differences because it's a new file. So what we're gonna do in this case is we are going to commit it, git commit, or we can just git add dot. Now this says it's untracked, so we're gonna add it. So, and then we're gonna use git status. Now, before it was red, now it's green. Before it was not added, so it was not tracked. That's why it says untracked. First we add our changes, then we do a git commit m, and this is every time you do a commit you need to add some text inside. Okay, so you have to always write down what you're doing so other people know what each commit contains. So add it index HTML, because if we're just pushing code and people are just seeing a lot of code without an explanation of what each commit does, then because if you 200 people working and doing these commits, it's gonna be very spaghetti, you have to know what each commit represents. So that's why the commit message is very important. So git commit m and then quotes, and then you write your message. So remember, git init, initialize a project, git add, this dot means git add everything. If we want to just add only a file, we just give git index HTML, for example, because we can have many files. Let me give you an example. Okay, file 2 text, new. So now whatever I do, this is gonna detect it, because this git.git folder is gonna detect all the changes. So if I do git status, it's gonna show me these two files, you see. So now if I only want to add git file 3, I can just do, file 3 text. So if I get to git status, 3 is gonna be green, but not 2. So that's if you want to add particular files to push. So now we created our git add, git commit, the message, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do git push. It's the last part. If I do git push, let's see what happens. Okay, so it's asking me, okay, mate, you have a git, you have made your changes, but where do you wanna push this? So you see git remote add here, it tells me no configured push destination. But me, as you remember before, we made actually, let me see, we made a repository, or we created one, and this was here, GitHub tutorial. So this is our repository. So push an existing repository from the command line. So I'm gonna use this git remote add origin. So we basically created all this stuff here around, not exactly the same, but we have our own version. Don't worry about this. This is just GitHub telling you how to do it, but you don't need to do it this way. Okay, let's say git remote add origin. So now we're basically connecting our GitHub repository with our local environment here, our local Git repository. Git remote add origin. Okay, now I'm actually gonna copy this, and you can use this, do the same. So now I added it. So if I do git status, I'm gonna do one more commit because I pushed also this file. Added file 3 text. And remember to keep your code clean and precise, and your commits, clean and precise. When your messages have to be very, not very big, like not a lot of, like this. It has to be just some words explaining very briefly what you have done, your changes basically. So now if I do git status, I don't see the folders or the files that were committed because they're ready to be pushed. So now I will do push. Now, okay, the current branch master has no upstream branch. Don't worry about that. We're gonna create a branch called master. Git, in Git, I will show you. It's a bit, let's copy this code here. Okay, git push, set upstream origin master. Master is gonna be our branch. In Git, we have branches, okay? So, because if you are in a project that many people are working in, you want to divide the work. For example, one will add a navigation, one will add the footer, one will add backend code, one will do this, one will do that. So every person that does something creates his own or her own branch, and they work into that branch. And then in the end, someone reviews all this code and merges them to master. So I'm gonna do this. Now it's gonna create a branch called master. Look at this. If I refresh here, there we go. There's our code. Brilliant, right? So now we have our code here. So basically we have our local code. The changes we pushed, we send them to GitHub. And you see if I do dir, here I see file 3 text, file 2. Here I see file 2 also, an index. But the file 2, we didn't push it. So if I were to push file 2 also, git add, remember, again, git add, first we add the file. Then we commit, and we say what we do. Adds file 2 text. Okay, usually you're not gonna write this, you're gonna write something better, but this is for the tutorial. And then git push, pam. So now it's gonna come here. If I refresh, pam, there we go. File 2, and it says now. So now if we can also see the commit. If we go here, we see our 3 commits we did. First we added index.html, we did git add, git commit, again the same thing, file 3 and then file 2. If I go here, view commit details, I can see the file. Yeah, it's an empty file, so it doesn't gonna show anything. Awesome. So that's basically what it is. GitHub and Git. Now we can do a lot of stuff. So if I, for example, I will open Sublime Text. What happens now if I actually add some code here? I added some code. What's gonna happen? Because now it's not gonna be, this code is not gonna be the same as here. We want it to have the same code updated all the time, you know. And what's happening now is if I do a git status, it's modified, index.html. If I remove this, save, and do git status, nothing is gonna happen. You see nothing to commit. So basically, it's detecting the changes. So every time you do something, every time you change something, it's gonna detect it or remove or whatever. It detects everything. Nothing goes out of Git. And that's what's amazing with Git. So now I added this code, and again, I wanna do git add everything, git commit, add it, and h1 element, git push. So now I push this code here. So if I refresh, look at this, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes. If I refresh, it's gonna say 13 seconds ago. And you see 4 commits. This was my last commit, added an h1 element. So now if I go to code, and if I go to index, I'm gonna see this one. Now if I, for example, copy paste this, if I add some code again and save, if I refresh, I'm not gonna see this because I haven't pushed it live, right? So again, if I do git status, it's gonna show me the change. Git add, git commit, new change, git push, bam. Again, pushing and then refreshing, and I'm gonna see it here. So that's the magic. Now I'm gonna show you something else. We can create a new branch. So if I go to GitHub tutorial, let's say this branch is the master, Okay, select the main branch that contains the latest code. It needs also to always to be updated. We have always one main branch, the most important one, and then we have like mini branches that we, for example, I will show you. Say that we want to add the navigation. I will do git checkout b feature adds navigation. I want to explain exactly what I'm doing in this branch. Now if I do git status, I'm gonna see that I'm on branch feature adds navigation. So now I'm not in the same branch as here, as this one. Now I'm in master. Okay, so what's happening now is I have created a branch locally, but I haven't created it on my on GitHub. So I need to create this branch here too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do some changes. I'm going to go to Sublime, and I want to add navigation. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come here. We're gonna save nav. Okay, navigation. Home. I do not know why I did this thing. I cannot see the screen because of my microphone. All right, so there we go. Home. Contact. So I'm doing this, and we can actually give me a second. We can come here and we can see the changes. I added some code, and this is my navigation. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this code, basically the navigation. So if I go here to index, you see I haven't pushed it live yet. So I'm going to go here and I'm gonna do the same thing again. Git add this, or everything. Git commit m. It's basically the same thing we're doing. Adds navigation. Git push. That's it. Look at this. The current branch future adds navigation has no upstream branch, which means that this branch does not exist here. So we need to do copy paste this one. And oh my god. So, and what this is gonna do is it's going to create this branch also here on my cloud on GitHub. So let's do this. There you go. You see feature add has recent pushes less than a minute ago. So we pushed this branch, and if we go git status, git push, everything is up to date. So now if to see this branch, I can click here, view all branches, and there I see adds navigation. This is another branch. And if I go here, adds navigation, I can see the navigation. But if I go to master, I'm not gonna see this. So you see the difference. And the reason is because if we say that you have another developer you're working with, and everyone cannot push to the master, it's gonna be terrible if they make mistakes and stuff. So they make a branch, they push the code, someone reviews them, and I'm gonna show you how we do it. So I push the code into this branch. I create a new pull request, which means I want someone to review this code and make sure everything is fine. I'm gonna do it here. You see the changes we added, plus line from 9 to 14. So if we check here, it's 9 to 14. And now we're gonna say create pull request. Adds navigation, create pull request. Now, for example, if you work in a company and you have always a developer that is going to review the stuff, which is usually the most experienced one, or the one in charge that, you know, usually it's the most like senior that will check your code and make sure you don't push anything bad on master, because master is usually the code that is live. So if you have a website, it usually goes from the master. It needs always to be updated clean and without problems. Okay, so that's it. Let's go to pull requests. So the senior developer is gonna see, or your, I don't know, is gonna, the guy who reviews it, or the girl, I don't know, is gonna see this one, and they're gonna see the changes, files changed, and you know, sometimes they will find mistakes. So what they're gonna do is come here, and you forgot to add a list item projects. Please add projects. Start review. So now the senior developer sends this, or yeah, and what I'm gonna do as a junior, for example, or anyway, I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna see this message, because I'm gonna, you also get, I think you get also emails when someone is reviewing your code and not comments, but you're gonna see this, and then you're gonna do this. You're gonna do what he says here. You're gonna add projects, and then you're just gonna do the same thing again. Git add, git commit, adds projects, and then you're gonna push it. All right, we did this. Look at this. It detects a change. Refresh. And now we see the projects here. So I added this. So I don't need it now. So I made everything correct, and the senior developers knows that. So now what he's gonna do is he's going to go in here, and he's going to actually merge this branch with the master. So look at this. If I do merge, confirm, after I see that this code works fine and the developer has made everything correctly, successfully merged and closed. So now you remember the code was not in the master branch before, but now it's actually here. Look, navigation is on the master branch. So master is the most important branch. It has to contain clean code, no mistakes, nothing wrong. You know, it has to be always clean and updated, always updated. Awesome. So now I'm still on this branch. If I do git, actually we can do git branch, and you see it's gonna list my branches, adds navigation. But now I'm done with this branch. I made the change, I did the navigation. I'm gonna do git checkout master. So if I do git branch, this is gonna get green again, the master. Before it was this one. So that's what you basically do. You create a new branch, you create pull request for someone to review the changes you made, if you want that, or you can just push directly to master if it's your own project maybe, and so on, if you're very sure that it's correctly, and so on. So I think that's pretty much it. You don't need to go very deep. It's the start experimenting with GitHub and Git, create your repository, start pushing stuff, committing. You can to create a new branch, you do git checkout -b, this b, and then you add your branch like we saw before, branch name. To change to another branch is you do only git checkout. The b will create a new one. The git checkout will change. So I can go ahead and check out to add navigation again. So git branch, no, git checkout to master. So you can switch between branches. You can also do a git log to see your commit messages. You see Mike has pushed these changes, the commits. You can do, oh, what happened now? Yeah, okay. You can do, you can also do git reset. For example, if you create something like this, file 3, oh no, I can actually do something else. So we come here and we save this. You see this is wrong. So this is gonna detect the change. If I do git diff, it shows me the difference in the file. You see modified here. It's not modified. Yeah, okay. Code, you see the difference. We change this to this. And then we're gonna do git reset, because I don't want this, I did it by accident. So I'm gonna do git reset index HTML. I'm gonna come here. Wait, sorry. It didn't work. So git reset dash hard. Head is now at the last commit. So if I go here, you see it loads the code from the latest commit. So it basically resets all the changes we've done to our local branch. So if I do this, you know, if I made accident, I can just save, you know, I can just do git reset dash hard and it drives me back to where I was. So this is very cool option also, because sometimes you're gonna do mistakes and we want to revert, you know. I think this is everything for now. Let's actually go git most used commands in case I just forgot. Git fetch. It's yeah, of course I forgot the pull. Okay, so how are we gonna do this now? Before you change, before you do anything into your branch, you always need to update to pull from your master. So you'd always do git pull first. And you see that I did git pull and I have these changes coming in to my local branch. Okay, listen, this is a bit hard to understand, but I'm gonna make it easy for you to understand. So we created a new branch before. We added our navigation. We pushed the code to this branch, not master, we pushed it to this one. A developer reviewed it, said, okay, fine, we can merge this branch. We merged it to this one, so it came into the master. But look at this. I have master here locally and I have a master here. I have a feature adds navigation here and I have the same here, but they're not always updated the same, you know, because the master here, they're not synchronized, because to synchronize them, you do git pull. So what git pull is, it's gonna fetch all the changes, the latest changes from this master to this. It's basically gonna sync this branch with this, so the remote one with the local one. So if, for example, I create a new branch, test, I will create, let's do it again, git add. I will add, for example, here, what should I add? I don't know. Images, work, I don't know. Yeah, whatever, you know, git add, git commit, adds work nav item, git push, and the same thing, because this is a new branch. If I do git branch, test exists locally but not remotely. So this code here is going to actually push it live. This branch, I can see here, compare and pull request. You see it's telling me also. Adds work nav item. Yeah. So there it goes. Okay, fine. So create pull request. The experienced developer, more experienced than me, probably is going to merge it and see if there are changes. He's gonna merge it. Okay, fine. And this is gonna go into master. Okay, so what happened now is we merged it. It came here. You see the latest commit. And there it goes. So everything is fine, all right? But if I go to my local environment and actually change my branch, so if I do git status, git branch, I'm on test. Now I'm done with test. They merged it all fine. I'm gonna go back to master. Look at the difference now. If I go here, bam, oh, wow, this is not here. So this work in master is not the same with my local master. And as said before, you always need to pull the latest changes, because we merged the new code into the remote master, but we didn't do it in our local master. So always for master you do git pull, and this is gonna merge the latest changes. Fetch. So you see it's one change, and if I actually go here, it's gonna give me the latest change. So always do a git pull before you start making any changes to your, So if you were going to go into your project and start the day, the first thing you do is git pull, and then you start working on your own branch probably. Future, I will add, I don't know, adds footer. Add your footer here, push it, create a pull request, let the reviewer see it, review it, merge it, or add some comments to you. When you're done, git checkout master, and then you just pull back the new changes that are merged on the master, because the branch master and the other branches do not contain necessarily the same code. So that's why we have different branches. Every branch contains might have the same base, but they contain different code. Because depends on what you're doing on each branch. So what I mean is, if I create a new branch, test 2, and I add this test 2, it's gonna exist only in test 2 branch. If I check out master, now it's telling me I cannot do this because I have to do something with this change. Status, I'm just gonna add it, git commit, adds test 2. So I'm just to make it go away, otherwise it's not gonna let me if I don't git stash it, but that's something you don't need to know now. So I'm gonna do git checkout master. Now if I do git checkout master, it doesn't gonna exist in the master branch. So if I do here, no, it's not updated. Okay. Yeah. So if I do git stat, okay, that's a bit weird. Maybe I pushed on master. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, sorry, I did a mistake. Git checkout b test 3. Okay, sorry, just I pushed on a master by accident. Git 3, not by accident, but I was trying something different here. Git status, I'm on another branch. Git add, git commit. This is gonna push it on the test 3 branch. Adds test 3. Git push. It's gonna show me the message because test 3 branch does not exist live on GitHub. So I'm gonna say create this branch. I'm gonna see the message here. Here, but I have a new branch anyway. So look at this. You see this test 3. Now if I change the branch, it's gonna go away. It's gonna disappear. Git checkout master. Bam. If I click here, it disappeared. It only exists on this branch, test 3. So if I do get checkout test 3, it's gonna appear again. And that's it. You have different, you can have different code in different branches, So this is pretty much it. I will do more tutorials on Git and Github, but I hope this can get you started and you understand the basics. Another thing I wanna show you very fast is also this GitHub desktop. I will probably do another tutorial for this because it's getting long now. So try this one also if you don't understand how if you don't have a terminal or if you don't know how to use it and so on, you can just use this GitHub desktop and it may be much more easier for you to understand. Awesome. Take care. Have a nice day. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe and have a nice day. Bye bye.